Hi everyone, I'm Yushu. Today I'm here to present the book review of Daniel Kahneman. My content is divided into 5 parts. First, I'll introduce the main idea of the book and the topic importance. Second, I'll elaborate the two systems and then talk about the two cognitive illusions. Next is the critical thinking regarding the book. Finally, I'll give some recommendations. Before we begin, I'd like to ask a question. We face a complex choice. How does our brain work? Do we make decisions after careful consideration, or do we rely on intuition to quickly make a judgment? Thinking Fast and Slow reveals the fascinating answer to this question. Thinking Fast and Slow is a groundbreaking book of behavioral science. It illuminates the two systems of the human brain. System 1 is fast and intuitive, and System 2 delivers deliberate thinking. Daniel Kahneman illustrates how they interact and cooperate, and therefore affects our judgments and behaviors. Thinking Fast and Slow will revolutionize your perspective on thinking. It provides practical advice on how to use different techniques to avoid falling into troublesome thinking traps. What's more, understanding those modes is critical for us OB students because it helps us recognize how biases and heuristics can influence our decision makings in organizations and our daily study lives. First, let's talk about the main idea of the book. Humans have two operating systems, one called the fast system and the other the slow system. The fast system is known as System 1, which generates fast thinking and is crucial to human survival. For example, it helps us quickly identify and avoid danger. Everyday activities like eating and walking are also directed by System 1. System 1 is characterized by being unconscious, fast, effortless, active, intuitive, and reliant on memory for improvement. The slow system, known as System 2, comes into play when we solve complex math problems that require focused attention and reasoning. System 2 consumes a large portion of our limited attention and energy, and if we become distracted or fatigued, it can be interrupted. System 2 is conscious, methodical, mentally taxing, lazy, highly reasoning, precise, and activated on demand. How do these systems work together? Typically, System 1 and System 2 cooperate effectively. System 1 handles information it can process independently and passes on tasks it cannot manage to System 2, which saves resources and increases efficiency. However, due to the laziness of System 2, the brain tends to delegate more tasks to System 1. The fast thinking can be biased. A person who is not adept at or willing to engage System 2 can easily believe unsupported conclusions, follow the crowd, and make poor judgment and choices. This part, I learned that intuition is nothing more and nothing less than recognition. Intuition relies not on the spiritual insight, but on past experiences drawn from the subconscious. At its core, intuition is an animalistic survival instinct, enabling quick judgments about potential threats in the environment by rapidly retrieving and analyzing past experiences. Every unconscious choice we make is not a result of fate, but a habit of repeatedly accessing our memories. For example, I used to choose my middle school based on its atmosphere, rather than the data and the concrete information. I used the instincts. The first school is one with high ranking, but it has old buildings and surroundings. Most importantly, I visited on a rainy day. The second one is a lower ranking school with new facilities and abound activities, which I visited on a sunny day. Though I chose the second school for its cheering atmosphere, I lately learned that it has fewer education resources comparing to the first school. Now I learned that by understanding the true nature of intuition and recognizing our limitations, we can make the right decisions when faced with life's crossroads. Then we can delve into some nuanced topics in the book. Let's talk about cognitive and decision-making errors. In life, we often make cognitive mistakes, which are referred to as illusions. I'll outline two types of illusions that struck as impression on me. The first is the illusion of knowledge. We often think we already know the answer. Many times, what we believe to be knowledge is actually just intuition or gut feeling. It is a common scenario in my final tests. When I review for final exams, I'll sometimes skip certain topics because I believe I've already mastered them. However, during the exam, I often find that the very question I struggle to answer are the ones that I skipped during my review. Therefore, I learned that only by truly exploring and learning can we fill the gaps in our knowledge. The second is the illusion of skill. Sometimes we attribute luck or chance success to our own skills. This can lead us to overestimate our abilities and underestimate risks. For instance, when I got an 8 in my IELTS test, I tend to think it should be attributed to my years of hard work in practicing English. However, I forgot that it was also because I practiced some of the topics that I encountered in my oral tests. When I got too confident in my language skills, being abroad reminds me that getting an 8 as referred to close to the level of native speaker doesn't really mean I can stop practicing. I can still get stumbled when I'm speaking too fast. Therefore, it's important to understand that success is not always determined by skills. Sometimes it's just luck. However, there are also limitations to certain concepts. First is contextual difference on framing effect. Kahneman mentioned that people are prone to be affected by the expression, which is referred as framing effect. However, psychological mechanism is a bit different based on the cultural aspect. For example, in high context countries like Japan and China, people are more likely to pay attention to the overall context and details rather than the way it's being presented. 2. Boundary of loss aversion. While Kahneman stated that people can display non-rational behaviors in risk assessments, it is not applicable in all fields. For example, when purchasing real estate or making major investments, people are more likely to use their cognitive analysis. What's more, though it can be an intuitive paradigm, it can be overshadowed by severe market competition, and people working in investment fields are likely to mitigate the effect and focus more on long-term return. Based on the systemic thinking pattern and illusions we mentioned earlier, we learned that we must constantly remind ourselves to avoid falling into these cognitive traps. How can we reduce the decision-making errors? Here are 3 key recommendations. First, save your energy for complex tasks. Since System 2 consumes a lot of mental energy, it's important to manage your energy levels before engaging in activities that require focus and cognitive efforts, including paying attention to your diet. A clear example of this is avoiding dieting during exam preparation. Both studying for exams and dieting require significant self-control, and restricting your intake could also potentially limit your output, leading to decreased quality of thinking. 2. Seek external opinions. Seeking advice from others is equally important. Listening to different perspectives can provide valuable insights that you might not have considered yourself. For instance, during my internship in marketing department, before launching a new project, my leaders always consult with colleagues from different departments. It can reveal potential challenges and solutions that one may overlook if working in isolation. As the saying goes, in the company of 3, one can always learn from the other. 3. Pre-mortem analysis. Conducting a pre-mortem is an effective technique. This involves imagining that a project or decision has failed and then identifying the potential reasons for the failure. You can revise your plan to increase likelihood of success. For our students majoring in management, if we were to start an entrepreneurship experience, business planning to enter a new market could use a pre-mortem analysis to identify potential obstacles, such as market competition, and adjust our strategy accordingly. By incorporating these practices, we can avoid the risk of falling into common cognitive traps or making unconscious and intuitive decisions. That's all of my presentations. Thank you for watching.